This morning we're exploring the proposal to turn part of our city into a national urban park. Keisha Kerr is the Executive Director of the Northern Alberta chapter of the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society, and she joins us this morning. Good morning, Keisha.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So how did this proposal to put a national urban park in Edmonton come about?
Well, the federal government announced in August of 2021 that they were dedicating some funding towards a network of national urban parks across the country. And Edmonton was one of the locations that was in that initial list. So there's been a group of people who have been interested in this for a while, and it's great that Edmonton's being considered.
Now, the River Valley is a park pretty much already connected, right, all through. So why turn it into a national urban park? You're even a part of it, I guess.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do, as Edmontonians, we treasure the River Valley, and we often refer to it as the largest urban park in North America. But it's actually not a park. So we have connected green spaces, but it's not officially protected necessarily. So there are policies within the city and the River Valley bylaw that is meant to prevent chipping away at the green spaces. But an analysis that we conducted showed that between 2000 and 2015, we lost 6.5% of the green spaces in the River Valley. That's an area of about the size of the Kinsman Park every single year. So it is, we think of it as a park, but we're still losing it. So, yeah.
Now, what happens if it becomes a national park? Does the city lose control of the area, or? No,
definitely not. So I do want to make the distinction that this is not the same as a national park.
Okay.
This new program, it's new. There's only one national urban park in Canada so far.
And where's that one?
That's the Rouge in Toronto.
In Toronto. There's a park in Toronto?
Yeah.
National park?
Yeah.
I guess National Urban Park, we're calling it. Yeah. It's right on the edge of the city. I kind of looked at the map.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So this is unique in that this proposal is right through the core of the city, and is it's something that we all know how great it is to have access to that. So it's being recognized at a national stage. So
the question is why? What are the benefits of it?
Yeah, well, one, it's a legacy opportunity for Edmonton and would provide additional notoriety for the area that we already treasure. It would also provide additional funding. So the federal government through Parks Canada would provide funding for infrastructure and programs,
like
signage,
interpretation,
exactly, all that sort of stuff. It would not have any fees, so that's been a question that people have asked us pretty regularly. So
you don't need a pass.
Yeah, it's definitely different than a national park.
That's good to hear.
There, of course, would be a focus on nature and conserving that green space. But the other pillars in this program are connecting Canadians with nature and advancing reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. So those pillars are considered to be equal within the program. So yeah, it would provide some of that additional protections because there would be a commitment from the city that there wouldn't be loss of the green spaces. But back to your question about who would control it, there's many different ways that the governance could happen, and this is also a different thing from national parks. So it could either be that the lands become federal lands. The city of Edmonton has expressed zero interest in that, and I don't think Edmontonians are interested in that either. But there are partnership models or third-party models that Parks Canada is considering as well. So it's sounding like it would be a partnership model or the city having the main control.
Who are some of the people and organizations that are being consulted right now, or are, how far along are they in that?
Yeah, we're still in very early phase right now. It's called the pre-feasibility phase. So, no boundaries have been determined or anything like that. But Parks Canada and the City of Edmonton have signed a memorandum of understanding with the Confederacy of Treaty 6 Nations and the Métis Nation of Alberta they've struck a partnership table with those organizations and also the government of Alberta. And then they've set up a stakeholder table, and that table includes representatives from conservation groups like ours, from recreation groups and academics and other representatives that expressed an interest in this, and that the city and Parks Canada thought could provide expertise.
I mean, this could be the entire river valley from, one end to the other, or it could be just a small piece of it somewhere, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
and so that still hasn't been determined yet. From our perspective, we'd like to think big. There's an opportunity to potentially go from, say, Devon and connect all the way to Elk Island National Park.
Wow.
There could be different zonation in there and have some anchor points along the way. Or it could be one specific site, and that varies across the country in the different areas that are being considered too.
Right.
So,
All right, Kecia, thanks very much for coming in this morning.
my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Kecia Kerr is the Executive Director of the Northern Alberta Chapter of the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Association.